Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing great. Today's session is one of the important topics that if they want to hire somebody and that developer should not be in entry level, so something like intermediate or even upper intermediate, they're gonna focus asking you about LINQ. So let's consider what we had before this technology, which happened after 3.5. And guys, it doesn't need to be very old. .NET 3.5 was not there long ago. Before having the LINQ technology, we needed to separately connect to different data sets. Just before I continue, people at home, Jennifer, Jordan, if you can hear me clearly, please type 1. Okay. Awesome. So look at this example. That I'm going to show you. All the time when we are working with a serious application, we are going to have our local machine here. So the Windows format, anything. And then there should be a database somewhere. It could be in your computer. It could be somewhere thousands of miles away. You need to connect these two. So OLADB was one of the technologies that we used. And this is not a session to talk about how to connect computers and data servers. But the problem arises when you wanted to have an Excel sheet, a text file, another database with different technology, and you wanted to collect all the data from different resources, especially when it comes to the era of big data, that we didn't have any unified form of the data collection. So what should we do then? LINQ is the response to that answer. So we have LINQ to have versatility of getting information from different resources. I repeat this, LINQ is having versatility to collect data from different resources. Now I want to add something on top of it. Can we say that LINQ is high in terms of performance? The answer is no. So what is a better option? I remember I need to talk quickly about something that happened personally to me. I remember when I started working in a banking system, I realized what the real data means because I started working with 1.5 millions of records. So before that, I did a project with something like maximum thousands of records. So 1.5 million, I didn't have any idea. And I thought that if an application works with something like 500, it should work with 5 million. But when they gave me the real data and the application worked with dummy things that I created, it took 8 hours. And then the system crashed. 8 hours, and I didn't receive even a single message, and just the system crashed. And imagine that was a time that we didn't have any Stack Overflow. We didn't have ChatGPT. We didn't have any of those things, but we had more friendship. So I called one of my friends, say, Shahriar, I'm about to lose my job. And he came and said that, Reza, why you didn't use store procedure? I was like, store what? Store procedure. So that was the first time that I realized the store procedure is something like, instead of bringing data here and start working on it, send some troops to do the mission there inside the database. And I told you this to let you know, if you deal with big data, if you deal with a data which is big inside, because many of you are going to work in TD, CIBC, RBC, and all those big names. So always remember, for such databases, you have to use this store procedure. Send the procedure over there to do the job for you. But LINQ is going to bring the data towards our computer. Is it clear for everybody? By saying that, the first thing that you are going to work on, please open the 31 LINQ support. And at the same time, you can open the text that I have provided as well. There are some useful videos and some useful contents. Please watch them and work on them at your convenience. Look at this one. I'm not going to repeat myself. It says that auto implement. Spend a few seconds, please, just read it. Everything is clear, right? Let's go to this one. Guys, one of the things that the chapter started with is talking about var. So is it a preferable type? I don't know, but I want to tell you that there are some of the stuff. I want you, please, go to the slide number 6 note. What do you mean by note part? The slide number 7 note, my apologies. And you simply can bring the first part to Visual Studio, Control A, Control V, and see this one works. Right? Guys, look at the statement, please. It says that, hey, computer, I want you to allocate an integer block in the memory for me. And then in that integer block, Sherry, we are going to assign 20 in it, right, Festus? Look at the next thing. Instead of this one, if you say var, it's going to raise error. Why? Because you don't know what could be the type for I. It's like saying that, hey, reserve a hotel for me. How many people are gonna come? How many bytes you need for that? You don't know that, and you want to place 20 inside unknown location of the memory. Does that make sense? But the funny thing is this part, with all respect, but this is the funniest thing that we could have. Look, it says that when we should use var, the specific type of variable is tedious to type on the keyboard. Seriously? Guys, you're not gonna type because it is integer or it is a string, so var is easier. Come on. And because it is obvious, really, you're not gonna say the type because it is obvious? Another thing, or doesn't add to readability of the code. Hey, come on. When you say int string, they add readability. And so that implicit typing is useful for convenience and brevity. You know, these kind of things shows that it's like I had some students that when I ask questions, they just start talking. Not, they don't want to fill any blank. They don't just to leave anything blank. They just want to talk. It's like, hey, you need to have logic behind it. Among all of them, I think the only thing that we can just is the exact constructed type of the query variable is difficult to determine. And you're going to use var for that moment, but later you're going to replace it with something meaningful because whenever you use var, it shows lack of knowledge at your side. If you have knowledge, you're going to use proper typing. Always, no question. The next thing is, okay, customer cost, new customer. We have a class for that. Let's go to the thing that we have. Everybody, please, very simple. Go to the slide number 10 and bring it here. And I guess this is super obvious. Right? We say that list of strings and we have some values over there. Look at this one. Again, the same thing, but the only difference is using string.join. And please remember this. I very much like to ask you. In the next slide, you're gonna see we define a class called customer, and we are going to use that in a program like this. We say, let's have a cost as a customer and put your beautiful name instead of mine. And whenever you run the code, it's going to get back to the object that you have created based on the class, right? Okay. The other thing that I want to tell you is a kind of silly form of defining in slide number 13, you see the code. So guys, 31, LINQ language support. There, if you go down to slide 13, for those who left behind, this one, can I have everybody's attention? Here I say, let's define an object, but for the first time we see we have new here without any name. Means that create on the fly an object that has name and cell properties, right? But look at the problem. Is it possible to modify this behind the scene class? No, we can't. Is it possible to have reusability? No. Okay. And this is horrible in terms of readability of the code. Okay. If you want to write an application for your enemy, this is the way. But yeah, why we talk about such things, if you see it in the other's code, you can understand that you are walking on a minefield. Be careful, change it to something appropriate, like what we had a few seconds ago, like that. Okay, the next thing that I want to tell you is, guys, not everything is predicted in programming for us. For example, you all have passed or you're about to pass databases, right? What was the language that you used? SQL, right? But SQL, which version of it? Oracle or Oracle? Okay. Let me show you something. Actually, I taught Oracle at the same time with SQL. The funny thing is, what was the reason for that? I wanted to say, let me show you this example. There are some functionalities. Do you see that I mentioned that Oracle single row functions and I say MS SQL single row function? So I opened my screen two environments and at the same time I taught two different things. One of the things that we had they are pretty, in 90% of the times they are similar. But there are some functionalities that you have in Oracle, like what? You can have title case. You remember initcap that you had in Oracle? Do we have such a thing inside SQL, inside Microsoft SQL? No, we don't have that. So you need to create that. You need to extend that ability. Guys, if you type something like hello from Reza, or if you say hello from Reza, that's the maximum thing that we can get from the Microsoft Visual Studio.NET to lower to upper. What about to have title case? Means saying hello from Reza. Do we have such a thing? What about defining dot odd to brings back to you if an integer that you're working with is odd or even? What about calculating the number of digits that you have? Imagine that you want to create a mechanism that everybody should enter their ID, and the ID has a limited number of characters. You want to make sure that people entered 8 digits, for instance. We don't have such things. We want to extend the ability that we have for integer class. I repeat it. We don't want to change the integer class. We want to extend the ability of integers. Is it clear? Lovely. So everybody, watch this video and watch it carefully. He's a very nice gentleman who explained everything thoroughly with respect of, yeah.
We are going to cover another topic called extension methods. As the name says, extension method means when you want to add the functionality in some existing data types. For example, I have a class in system.io called directory info, which does not have anything, any functionality or any property for getting the size of a particular directory, which we can do programmatically by doing some recursion calls. So we can create an extension method for that particular type or for any particular type for a particular functionality which that class is missing without creating a derived class of that. When we will create the extension method, it will be nothing but a special kind of static method. Why I say special kind of static method? Because we have learned so far like static method must be called with the class name because static methods are for the particular class. But these extension method will be called with the instance member itself. For example, I have an int a, and if I create any extension method for integer type, I will call it like a dot method name rather than int dot method name. So we will see that by the time we will implementing, and make sure whenever you are creating an extension method that must exist inside the static class only. So let's see practically how we can create the extension methods here. In order to implement the concept of extension method, you can take any type of application. As here, I have taken a simple console application. You can do it with web application, Windows application, or any kind of applications as well. And let's add one more class. For doing that, let's add a separate class to file. All right, so let's add class, and here inside I will take, let's say, class one itself. All right, default name I'm taking. So as I said, the class must be static before getting started with the extension method. So first of all, I will add the static keyword right here. And then inside this particular class, I can do the extension method as well, like public static int is the return type, get digits is my method, and inside this I will use a parameter of integer type, let's say num. So basically, in the parameter, as you can see here, I'm creating this extension method for a predefined data type. Which data type? Integer. So for that, I have to point it with this keyword.
If you don't say this, it's going to get to where? To a variable that you pass. But if you want to say this type integer, you're gonna say this type, this. Okay.
Whenever you will create an integer type of member, inside using that particular member, you can use this get digits method. What I'm going to do, I will call it with a particular number and I will get the digits of that one. All right. So to do that, I'll define a counter variable, count is equal to 0. Then while num is not equal to 0, count plus plus num is equal to num by 10. All right, and return count. All right. So I have already defined this logic by the time I worked with while loop. So you can go there for the description how it is working. But yes, this is the one which will get the digit of a particular number. And I'll repeat again, because I'm creating this particular this extension method for here and use it here inside the any number because it's an extension method. Look at this one. The beautiful part is when you open it, that get digit that you have created yourself has a kind of arrow that shows this is what you extended. It was not initially there. Does that make sense? Okay, by saying that, guys, please go to the file that I have already provided for you. And that is here in extension. You can just get to new version, which is in slide number 18. Please copy and paste everything. They're all in one. Just to quickly tell you how this code works. Please look at the whiteboard here. Very simple. At the beginning, we say count is equal to 0. After that, imagine that we have something as simple as 371. What is the count at the beginning? Anybody? Definitely, it's going to be 0. Then you are going to say as long as number, which is now 371,
is not equal to 0, then keep doing. So first add 1 into count. So what is count now? It's 1. Lovely. Then divide that integer division, it should be, by 10. So it's going to be 37.1. But because it is integer, you're going to round it to 37. Is it 0? No. But add 1 into it. What is it's going to be? Yes. And then it's going to be 3.7. But because it is integer division, it's going to be 3. Is 3 equal to 0? No. So then we are going to add 1 more into it. Now count is equal to 3. And then if you say 3 divided by 10, it's going to be 0.3. And the rounding, the integer division would be 0. Then it's going to return 3 for you. And after that, the beautiful thing is what I already told you here. If you just say dot, you can see that get integer is something that you have added, right? And that's what I wanted you to practice. Just go through it, run it, try to understand, and for 30 seconds, please explain what you learned to your neighbors. Thank you. Can you please do me a favor? Make sure that you copy all the code from slide 18 here. Don't exist yet again in console application, something that happens like people work with. Just go to an online compiler. Okay, that's a computer call. Yeah, it's not okay. So if you get a little further, I have provided something that I said must watch video. And this is the other video that I insist to can I have your attention, please? Some languages, like 60-year-old languages, they call them functional. They are into math. Haskell is one of them, that they try to translate something that we normally use in mathematics. Like what? In mathematics, we say let's have a function that takes x and then bring it to fx, right? It could be as simple as what? Means that you get x and then you're going to bring it to x to the power of 2. Does that make sense? So they wanted to copy this concept from functional programming languages and bring it to environments like Java, C Sharp, Python, you name it. For doing so, we have two series of Lambda functions. One of them they called Lambda expression, and the other one they call Lambda statement. Let me ask you, for instance, knowledge is power or anything like under the weather. Guys, under the weather is what? Is it one word or is it expression? You know what I'm saying. So expression is a combination of 1, 2, 3 things together, and they're concise. But let's have a powerful day together. Guys, is it expression or a statement? Statement, right? I told you these two examples. Always remember, when it is expression, it is short. When it is a statement, it has begin of the sentence, end of the sentence. It has curly braces, right? Okay, lovely. Look at everything that we learned together. When you have a time, guys, use the summer as much as you can. I'm very much confident that you're gonna get awesome job. And when you review these things, look at it the way that, okay, I'm gonna get myself prepared for an interview, right? Look at it from that perspective. It's going to bring you, this knowledge is going to bring you an appropriate job. Okay. So by saying that, don't worry, everything is provided in these slides and we are gonna go through them together. But a big chunk of this, the credit goes to a gentleman who explained the things for us, and we are gonna watch and enjoy the video.
Hi friends, welcome to another video of Code LINQ. In this video, we will be trying to understand what exactly are lambda expressions in C#.NET. So this is the agenda for today. We will be looking into the lambda expressions basics, and then we will see what are expression lambda and statement lambda. We will try to understand the difference between these two, and we will do a demo hands-on in which we will try to understand this in detail. So to start with, what is lambda? So lambda expressions are nothing but anonymous functions. So if you would have seen my previous video related to delegates, in that I have explained an anonymous function using delegate. So now .NET 3.5 onwards, there is a lambda operator which is introduced using which you can create anonymous functions without using the keyword delegate. So as you can see, this is the operator which we use, and this operator is called lambda operator. So left side of the operator is the input that are like parameters, and right side of the operator will be the expression or the statements. It can be one single statement or multiple statements. So on the right side, you can see some examples wherein x, lambda operator, x into x. So here the left side, it shows one parameter, and on the right side, this is an expression in which this parameter is getting used. So similarly with 2 parameters, 3 parameters, and so on. So you can use any number of parameters in this. Next, we will try to understand what is the difference between an expression lambda versus a statement lambda. So on the left, you can see expression lambda is nothing but when on the left of the operator, there are input parameters, and on the right side, there is an expression. So expression, you can understand with this example, wherein we are defining a function which takes 2 integers and it returns.
Okay, guys, can you see this one? Just please pay attention to this. We use the word func. We have int, and boolean. Look at this one. Here we have x, y, which we can understand that they should be these two integers. And we want to see if x is greater than y. Guys, what is the output of that question? Is it Boolean, right? So this is something that we are gonna have as a return. Look at this one. What is the last thing that we have? Tell me. Boolean. So it's gonna be input, input. The last would be, I didn't teach you one part of delegates because I wanted to get to the usage of it, not just saying and memorizing it. Okay, so we can say func is one of the delegates that you could have number of inputs, but always the last element that you have is the output. Let's continue. We have action and we have predicates as well. You're gonna see.
So you can create this function with the help of lambda expressions, like how we used to use delegate for similar thing, wherein x, y are the two int variables which are coming as a parameter, and the function body has x greater than y. So that means whatever will be the bool output of this will be returned. So nothing but this output of this expression will be returned to wherever this method is getting called. So in this, it is nothing but returns the evaluated value implicitly. Whereas on the right side, you can see statement lambda, in which you will have input parameters, and on the right side, instead of an expression, you will have curly braces, and inside that you can have one statement or multiple statements. So this is an example wherein you are defining the same function which we defined on the left side. Instead of having one expression, we have multiple statements. You can do its sum and prints. You can print on console or whatever. You can have n number of lines here. But the difference in this case is it doesn't return any value implicitly, unlike the expression lambda. So if you want to return any value, you will have to use the return keyword explicitly. So this function returns a bool value. So in this body, we should return a bool value. So now let's try to understand this with a small demo. So I'm in Visual Studio, and this is the console application which I've created.
Okay, the thing is, I wanted to show you the source, but thanks to the gentleman, I have provided the rest of some of the, I borrowed from different resources. I mentioned the references, but let's just go to this lambda expression together, and you can simply copy and paste this. And bring it, it's a slide number 21. And I don't know what is that find all. Search a little bit about find all, what is the responsibility of find all, and see what is happening there. It's one of the collections. What? Just find that definition. Jainam, say it aloud. Kanjan, sorry. Say it aloud.
Find all where x is equal to where x is this number means the addition value.
Lovely. In other words, we want to say that for guys, because we have equal sign over there, we want to return Boolean values, right? If the condition is correct, true. We are going to get every single number here, and we divide them by 2. If the remainder is equal to 0, it means even numbers, right? If even numbers, technically you are going to return true, right? So you're going to say, hey, find any number which the condition brings true and have them inside even numbers list. That's what's going to happen. Guys, especially in Python, you're going to use this fact a lot. Why I'm saying that? Because I always tell my friends that do not start learning computer engineering using Python. But whether you want it or not, you're going to get to Python. So now it's the time to tell you a little bit of things. This concept is what you're gonna see in your everyday programming. You have lots of falses and truths. You apply it on a data set and you fetch just those lines that are equal to true. Here, 2, 4, and 6 are gonna fetch and we place them into here. As a challenge for yourself, it's not a big challenge. Just replace this with join, string.join, and so on, please. Whenever you are done, please give me a signal. Okay, you have the code. If you go to the lower portion of the note, you have the answer for that too. Yep. Let's go to the next challenge. I have already told you that expression versus statement in Lambda. The slide number 24 asks you that provide a Lambda. Well, we already have int boolean, and we say if x is greater than y. And I wanted you to write a proper message. We don't have time for challenge, so let's just get to the answer. Very simple. You just use something as simple as my test 2010. So it's gonna just return true. Everybody, please try that one. I'm talking about slide number 25. The blue portion has the code. Please try it. Thank you. Okay, Festus, does it work? Slide number 25, lower portion. Done? Awesome. Okay, let's go to the next slide together. How about this? I don't think it is anything new, but quickly just try that and explain to your friend why you have two types here, one int, another int. So please explain to your friend why you have two integer here, int. Okay, the reason for that is simple. Guys, how many variables that you see that we have here? Just one, x. And how many return we have in just one? So it's we receive integer, we are going to return integer, right? Okay, awesome. Let's go to the next example together, please. Slide number 27. I said challenge, but again, write a lambda expression that gets a number and shows if it is odd or even, right? Or if it's odd, true, or if it's not, false. Spend a few seconds to guess, but don't tease yourself. Look at this one. I say if the remainder, guys, we want to check odd. If the remainder is equal to the remainder of the division by 2 is equal to 1, right? This is going to return something in odd check, which is Boolean, right? True, false. What is the input? Integer. What is the output? Lovely. Just here, I'm gonna say, guys, this is the funny way of using ternary operation. So you say odd check 5, and then we say question mark. If it is return, guys, if it is true, then return odd, else return. So try that with two numbers. Okay, guys, replace that func with predicate the way that you see, and then get rid of the Boolean, and it should work the same way. So I want you to think about this. Guys, what can we infer from it? Predicate is something like function that returns always Boolean. So because of that, most of the places I never see somebody uses predicates. But if an interviewer wants to tease, they're going to ask you this question. Okay, what is the predicate? Predicate is like func, but instead of saying return Boolean, you don't need to do that. That's it. I mostly use func. Okay, if you like, just write that comment somewhere. Even you can just add it to the text. No, it's not gonna work. We are gonna see it. I want to show you some examples in 2-3 minutes. We are gonna get back to the slides that I skipped previous session. Done? Justus? Awesome. Sherry? It's running. So Abdul works. Everything works. Okay, awesome. So let's go to the next together. 28. It says that who can explain what's going on here? Actually, I have provided different versions. Let's just have this major version, which I do not like because of two things. Guys, can you imagine? Can you say what are the things that I don't like? One of them is using var. Excellent. What else? Not using join, right? So use join. Challenge yourself first. Try to replace them without, guys, the first one. Hey, you have the answer. The answer is just below that, but try to challenge yourself. Try it yourself. Replace var. Replace for each with join. Thank you. Awesome. Can I have your attention, everybody, for a sec? One thing first. What if I say instead of odd check, let's do it one at a time. Instead of odd check, what if I bring this part to here? What's gonna happen? Is it going to work? Yes or no? Definitely. So you can simply see it works. It works like Mercedes, right? The other thing is, how about this var? Guys, what is this guy? Pardon me? Okay, if I just say list, is it going to work? What should I say? How about this? But Manav, I challenge you without using list, make it work. Okay, don't worry, Manav. We're gonna have the answer in no time. So look at this one, everybody. This is the most concise way. And yes, you're going to have it. But for now, I just add that one into the last part of the code, as you see, Control S. But the next part is the answer of the challenge that I asked Manav. It's the answer. What is it? I would love to see your solution, but one of the solutions that we use mostly is going to be this one, enumerable. The right side is I enumerable. If you want to convert it to list, you have to say dot to list, right? So this is what you don't need to. Do I need to do list or, sorry, to list or something to list? That's a slide number 29. And then please go to slide number 30. And I'm going to drag and drop all the code. Copy them and bring it to here. I want you to look closely. What is the difference between these two in the code and explain it to your team member? Look at this one. Let's just say what I want you to work on and emphasize. Guys, before we had var, let me just have all of them. If you say var, let's say numbers, let's say number 1, for example, that's one solution. Please take a look at them all. One is numbers. The other one is number 1. Let me have this one, Control C, and have without toolist, it works as well. The other thing that I could have is what? Control C, Control V, and say number 1, number 2. Instead of var, I say I enumerable, right? And what's it, integer or what? Integer. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I want you to closely look at them and see, instead of var, I use I enumerable. This guy is an interface, and it is one of the interfaces. I repeat this, and I want you, if you grab this one, the rest of the things that I'm gonna tell you would be easy. We told you that we don't have any multiple inheritance in C#, right? Means if you have something like a list, guys, do you think that list has come one day like this? Somebody has designed it, right? They wanted to have some features. One of the features that we wanted to have in the list is having an iterator. What is iterator? It means to move from one element to the other elements, to the next element, to the next element, right? We need to have an iterator. That iterator thingy has come from I enumerable. Because in I enumerable, you're going to have the values and the index of the place of those values. How about order? Because list has order kind of thing behind the scene. Then you want list to be derived from I ordered enumerable list. So because of that, you see, if you just want to focus on one feature, you can say on the left side, just I enumerable. But if you want to have multiple features, you have to say, hey, be ready to be changed. Be ready to be changed means that add those specific features of being list to this. Long story short, guys, when you use something like this, lambda expressions, we are going to have I enumerable. If you want to add more features into it, you're going to say, hey, to list, and you're going to say at the end, hey, I need those two to list. Does that make sense? Okay. By saying that, if you're already done with this, you can see we have covered. Go to the next one. And this time you're going to see we have expression. We have statements, not expression. I want you please say Control C, bring everything. Spend a few seconds with your team members. Okay, can I have your attention, please? What is happening here? We say, let's have action. Action is a function when you don't have any return. Action is a func without any return. So we have func, we have action, we have predicate. Predicate when the return is Boolean. Action when there is no return. So who is the father? Who's the function? Who is the grandfather? Delegates. They're all under the subsidiary of delegates. Look at this one. What is happening here? We say, if you get X, you use lambda. You say then var square X times X, and cube is times X times X. And you're gonna just return, you're gonna just, print, you don't return anything. That is why we don't need to have any return. Imagine that you have multiple lines of code and you do not have any return. So what are you gonna do? Simply, you're gonna use action. What is the name of this action that we have? Print odd. We are gonna say, look at this one, guys. This is going to fetch odd numbers for us. This is something that we have worked on a few minutes ago. Means go iterate over the list items that we have. Whoever is odd number, just have them in odd numbers. Challenge yourself, say I enumerable, not to have var. You don't need to have to list as well at the end. If you say I enumerable, what is the thingy? It's integer. Okay. But because we use for each, this is something that applies to what? List, exactly. That is why we need to have list features. So you see that it brings us up to a certain level if we just use I enumerable. The features that are just available for list cannot be applied to that. So what can we do here? You're gonna say to list, and then steal this one because you apply that, you need to say list. Reza, I don't want to use list, I want to use I enumerable. Okay, not a problem. Here you can just say for each loop manually, you just type that. You know what I'm saying? So for every element that you have in a collection, just go on. This is the most concise and the most beneficial way of using that. Let me just add this one to the lower portion of the. Okay, because we have already covered func. Guys, we are going to have quickly, we are going to have a break, but before we go there, I just want to tell you, sometimes we have problem. We want to test something over a dummy data set. The good thing is here in W3, do you remember that I showed you in the previous semester, those who I was lucky to have a session with them? Online compiler for C#. So here is online, what do we call it? SQL, right? And you can simply just use this and it shows you the result. The other thing, I know that you have already either passed or so it's going to be a little bit late maybe, but one of the beautiful things that you could have is this guy's online Oracle. So you simply can just bring that there, right? And just you use it, you know that. Sorry? Excellent. So we don't have such a thing similar to that for Microsoft. I always, but the good thing is you just quickly run because it is recorded. I like to just record it for those who watch. What I always do is in my classes at the beginning, it takes just for my database classes, I just copy and paste all the things from here. I don't know why it doesn't show. Okay, sorry. Guys, the amount of, yeah. So apparently the server is down. Anyway, let's just finish one more thing and then we are going to have a break. If you go please to the slide that we had for delegates. Should be 28 or 20. I think it should be 28. 27. The last 3 slides, if we go here. Yes, you see actions in slide number 38. Guys, if you see we have action T, what does it mean? Means I'm going to have one variable type T. If I have action T and U means I have 2 variables type T and U. If I have action TUV, 3 different types. Look at the next one. If we have func, if I have T means what? Exactly, but it is going to return, that's the return type T without any variable to pass, right? Right, Festus? Imagine that you want to say return pi, which is 3.1415. You don't need to pass any parameter into it, you just return. What if you have one parameter? You pass x, you want to return x to the power of 2, for example. Then you're going to say ut. What if you have two parameters, like x multiply y, and you want to return z? So it's going to be we all the time. Look at this one, diagonal t's here, you see, diagonal. The last parameter is always going to be a return. Lovely. What if the t is Boolean? Then you're going to just use predicate. Look at this one. It says that it takes one input parameter and returns a Boolean, as you see, for instance, in this. It could take multiple parameters, but it returns finally t. You just don't need to have that t. I personally prefer to use either action or function. By saying that, if you look at the clock, now it is 9:47. Let's have 8 minutes break. So we're gonna start sharp 9:55. Thank you. Sorry? You want to make sure not to come to those classes, right?
That was the case in second semester.
No, I'm just okay. Thank you very much. I just have let me just pause the video. So, stop. Please, among the files that you have, now open file 32, the PowerPoint one. From now on, we are gonna mainly use the PowerPoints. If you please pay attention to it talks about what the LINQ is, why it is useful, and LINQ versus procedure. I'm not going to take your time for these kind of things. It just said the most important thing, it's a kind of recent technology compared to many others. And it helps us to access different resources. Guys, when you can link to one data set, you can link to any data set. So because today, and the content that we need to cover is not databases in general, we just learn how to use queries, but not queries from databases. You can just use that simply. The benefits of using the LINQ would be, first, using the IntelliSense. What's the meaning of IntelliSense? If you make any mistake, it's gonna show a squiggly line. Compared to many others, setting up the connection, guys, not the performance. It's not talking about the performance. I told you the highest performance belongs to stored procedures. But in terms of setting up the connection to a database, among them all, LINQ is the fastest. And it's the most generalized form of connections because you don't need to worry about, okay, what if it is an Excel? What if it's something as simple as Access, Microsoft Access, or something as sophisticated as Oracle? The mechanism is the same for the all, and easy for debugging thanks to the Visual Studio environments that we are dealing with. The other thing is it allows usage of a single LINQ syntax while querying many diverse form of data sets, including big data concepts. Joining several data sources could happen in just one single query. By saying that, I hope that I could sell it to you, but it's not going to be a replacement for stored procedures. Most of the time, the answer is which one is better? The response is it depends. What is the best car, if I ask you? It depends. If you want to show off, Jaguar. If you go from point A to point B, do you have any portion or any? So Toyota, right? But Honda, just because of math. So it really depends. And people say that what language you're learning Python. Now I learn R. Okay, for what reason? If you want to do a statistical analysis, MATLAB, R could be better options. If you're working with big data concept, you want to have machine learning, deep learning, Python could be a nice option. If you want to make even machine learning automated, C# has a lot to say. Rarely people know. In programming 3, you are going to see that. Anyway, getting there, I want you please go to slide number 8. And if you get there, copy the whole code and bring it to Visual Studio. Done. Rishi, I have a question for you. Look at this one. If I say something like this, which class, which course it comes to your mind? Look at this one. Guys, instead of saying select something from table where a condition, I think that Bill Gates wanted to say that this is my signature. Just swap those two and said that, okay, now this is LINQ. This is mine. This is for Microsoft. But technically the same concept. And that makes it super easy because that is something funny. People react and people are going to be fan of something which is not totally strange for them. It's something that they can relate to 80-90% of the thing, but just 10% innovation. Microsoft used that fact. So you see from a source that you have, then you apply the condition and you say select none. Familiar for us, you understand it, you can just relate to it. You learn it. So guys, we have numbers and those numbers are integers between 0 all the way to 6, including 6. And then we are going to say from num in numbers, it's familiar as well, where the division by 2 has no remainder. In other words, even numbers, select those nums. Does that make sense? And then after that, you simply say for each num in num query, just print them. What do you expect to see? Just all even numbers. Am I right? One of the things that we want to change here is this one. Guys, what could be right? But the thing is, it is integer and it is done, right? The other thing that I want to tell you is one fact. If somebody writes code like this, you can either understand the age of company or the age of developer because it's old-fashioned. Instead of that, you can simply say this one and $sign. This is a new form of it. Does that make sense? Instead of 1, let's say 10 and see the result. Okay, so the second element that we rarely used or we never used would be what? The space between the elements that we have. I want you and I challenge you, please, instead of I enumerable, it's not easy for the first time, change it to list. Whoever could finish, just please let me know. Done? The bonus marks are going to get updated next week after the quiz, after the exam, sorry. Who else? Too late, man. Okay, man, can you help me before? Because I said that it's a challenge, but I can't do it, so.
Ran it before the semicolon.
You took it very serious. Okay. Guys, do you have similar thing like this? Guys, sorry. Do you have similar things? Right? You did it as well, Sherry? Awesome. Okay. Let me tell you something, and it is going to be beneficial for all of us because that's a mechanism that I use. I'm very much sure. Okay, for the next slide, you see that this is my beloved code using join. That's the only difference, but still I use var. The next one is, look at this one. I set a syntax, get the first version, get the first one here, Control C, go to slide number 10. And see, we have a scores. This time we started with I enumerable. And simply we have 97, 92, 81, and 60. And we want to reward those people that they got grades over 80, right? For doing that, as you can simply, thanks to man's help, so we are going to say what? Just simply put this whole thing inside parentheses and say to list, right? And then change this one to list as well. And then you can use that for each that we have for lists. That's another way of using it. And yes, lovely, lovely. So please see. Use join, challenge yourself. And technically, if you look at the whole thing, it's going to be just 4 nice, neat lines of code. Everybody can see that? Awesome. We are going to have bonus challenges, man, don't worry. The next thing is using, guys, this is super simple. What if I say, among the numbers that I have, look at here, we say from X in nums, select X. And for sure, join is a better way to show them nicely, neatly, but it just shows all those numbers. Is it correct? What if I simply say X plus X? What's gonna happen there? Very simple. It's gonna just show, instead of 2, it's gonna say, okay, just everybody show the square of it, please. The square of the numbers. Very simple. Whoever could finish and replace this guy with what? Yes, and replace this guy with list, please give me a signal. Sorry. You cannot find the code. If you please go to slide number 12, in the note part, you should see that. Done. Manav, hide your screen. Somebody might look at you. Done. Rishi. Done, Festus. Wait. Festus. Okay. Thank you, Felipe. And sorry, I forget your name, man. Kanjan. Thank you, Kanjan. And yeah, I gave you Mark, Jaina. and Garv. Okay. So
It's at the end.
sorry, you're done as well, right? Okay. Let me just give Vikas mark as well. And Sherry, I gave you mark. Sherry as well. Okay, guys, one of the things that I want you to just consider, can I have your attention, please, everybody? Arjun? You know that even for me, it's like that tests, even if it is a simple quiz, I feel a stress. I can do way better when someone says, okay, do this and you have a bonus. Guys, why you play any game? Are they going to give you well, there are cases that they give you cashes, but in general cases, you feel good when you see that the score is going up. And nobody's going to appreciate just those numbers. Our brain is trained like that. And there's kind of mechanism I want you to apply wherever you go, because I don't look at you as people that are at Centennial College. How many of my friends, they were those people that they sat on the chairs that you are sitting now. And now they have good roles in the economy. So you can just, apply that, but we need to apply reward penalty very wisely. Why I'm saying that? Because there was a kind of a study in one kindergarten. Parents out of 100, some of them they came late, and somebody should stay there for the parents that they arrive late. They started saying that, you know what, so let's just have a penalty. Like every parent that they come late, they have to pay $3. It exacerbated situation 5 times, means if they have 5 parents that they came late, then it became 25 in average. And the reason for that is like, okay, I'm gonna just come late and I pay the penalty. Who cares? Right? I have money, so I'm gonna pay the penalty. That's logic. And they started saying that, okay, it doesn't work. So let's just bring it back to what it was. It was better to just wait for 5 instead of 25. And the ratio stayed there because people started knowing that, okay, I pay 400 per month. Apparently it cost them $3. Then who cares? You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of rationale that they come up with. And the ratio stayed in 25. So when you want to define a reward and when you want to define a penalty, you should be very much. For instance, guys, who cares if somebody comes late? But I think that I'm responsible for this society. And I'm telling you guys, the place that I am in, I grew up in somewhere else, but I very much owe this beautiful country. So I think that we need to make it more beautiful. Let's have a system that we define together and we make together. So do you like to, you are gonna be future boss, future engineers, definitely future managers. And in those cases, do you like that somebody comes every time that the class starts at 8:30, comes at 8:37? No, you don't like. And that is why the penalty for those people is one simple thing. If that happens, those people, they don't have my guarantee and support, because I don't want to refer those people to society unless that they change themselves. And I'm not responsible for that. They know themselves. But if you repeat something, it's going to be the definition of you. Let's make a beautiful definition. The last thing that I want to say and get back to our journey is, and I don't have time to talk about this because next week we're going to have final exam. I want to tell this cranky old guy that nagged you a lot, teased you a lot, but I have one thing, and I want to share that with you, and that is I'm proud of every one of you. Honestly, the reason for that is now we have an army of people that I can proudly say engineers. Guys, if we live in the society that look at your surroundings, everywhere is a sign of something that people like you added to our lives to make it nicer, neater, easier to enjoy. We could imagine lives without politicians, but we cannot imagine lives without you guys, without engineers. So know that you are responsible to make this world a more beautiful place. Getting back to our journey. So slide number 14. Please copy and paste, see if there is anything new that we cannot understand. Okay, so that is why we are going to say list just to add one more thing into it and then say not to list. Beautiful. That's the only thing. Let's go to the next slide. And that is filter. It's exactly like what you learned from SQL. Whenever you want to filter some lines, not to show the whole, you're going to use where. So please go to slide number 16. And now it's the time to first bring the first part of the code, which use IEnumerable for the values that they are less than 10. Guys, you have the answer, but I want you please challenge yourself, change IEnumerable with list. And there is something wrong in the code, the second part. I already fixed it. You fix it at your ends too. Change the IEnumerable to list. Thank you. Done. Okay. Let's go to slide number 18, please. You see that we have, guys, please correct me. I say that it should be list of strings, but it doesn't work. Why? What is wrong? Sorry? It shouldn't be a split over there or what?
Within the split function, there should be an empty string.
Empty string means this. It doesn't work. Okay, so let me just tell you because we don't have time. Guys, this is going to create string array. So replace that with, it's not list, it's a string array. Okay. And I want you please replace var you know better than me. So simply, if you say I enumerable, that's the minimum change that you need to do. But this time we are going to say from W, from each word in poem, show me those that the length is above 4, right? In that case, it's going to show us little fleece white. Huh? Am I right? Now, thank you, Jordan. Okay. You can see I have provided different version of it. The first one contains var. The second one, I said string array, and I use I enumerable. The next one, I use list. So different variety, different versions I have provided for you. Just in case, if later you want to review these things, then you can just enjoy it and challenge yourself, have the answer, making sure that everything is there. There's another thing that I want to share with you. Pretty soon, I think that in 1 month after the semester, I'm going to delete all the videos or hide all of them. And there's a reason for that. I want to start a nice, neat, like 5-minute, 10-minute video for each topic. So you're going to have everything like that. So if you want to, meanwhile, if you want to have those videos, please download them. I'm going to save them somewhere. If you cannot reach to those, I'm gonna high probably make them unlisted. I'm gonna send you any link that you want, so don't worry. But what I want you to do is use a method for yourself how to learn as fast as possible. There is just one thing. I was talking to my mom and I was saying that if I can just be proud of one thing in my learning journey, that would be one thing. I'm not afraid of learning anything new because I know how to learn. So find your own mechanism. Notability, using an iPad, using pen and paper, classical way, Notion, whatever works for you the best. Okay, you're gonna have all these slides, all the resources, always my backup. Let's go to the next slides together, guys. In here, I'm gonna just make it bigger for you. As you can see, we want to see the words that the size of the word is greater than 4, but we have one more things here, and that is order by. This is one way. And the other thing is because we have order, this is not gonna be I enumerable because we want to have the order feature as well. Am I right? Now you can understand why for I list you are going to say to list at the end, because it's not just iteration. You want to have the order of that too. So please go to the note part. Try this one first. So it's not only going to show you, it's not gonna start with little, it's going to sort it alphabetically. And then challenge yourself by changing this var, this time by I ordered. Right? Done. If anyone left behind, worry not. Please go a little bit down. Here you can see first version is replacing those two vars with string array and I ordered enumerable. And the last one is replacing I ordered an enumerable with list. And let's go to slide number 21. Please look at this. The first one, we say ordered W, but this time we said descending. So the default, if we do not say, is ascending, like all the environments. But the best is for readability, say ascending, descending, right? And the next part is, guys, what is happening here? Anybody can tell?
So this length was like, the letter four characters gonna become four, then five, then six.
Are we going to filter any output here? No, we are not gonna filter anything because we don't have any where condition, right? So it's gonna just sort all the words, but what are the priorities of the sorts? First, based on the number of characters that we have, the smaller the first. And then if there's a case that, for instance, we have, yes, the same number of characters. I'm sorry, just give me a sec. Like what? Like had, it, was. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, then W, right? And then for lamb, Mary, snow, the same, white, and then so on and so forth. So for that case, I want you please, because we have the answers over here, I want you please spend a few seconds and then try the last two. In one, I just used var. In the second one, I replaced them with appropriate data types. Your task is everything that you see in this slide's note, please bring them one at a time, spend a few seconds, talk to your neighbors, go to the next. Done with this? Okay, guys, can you give me a signal? Done? Everything? Lovely. Thank you. Let's go to slide number 22. Here we have 4 different codes. What is happening in the first one? Let's go together. Okay, everybody, please. We are going to say we want to select every word from this poem, and we check if the length is greater than 4, so we have a kind of filter, and then we say order in descending form, which is going to be this one. How about the next one? Guys, what is the difference between the previous one and this? Lovely, lovely. And then look at this. What about this setting? Anybody can see we don't have any. This is something that I wanted you to just, just review like this with your friends. And I need to appreciate the way that Sherry and the groups, they recorded the video. I very much enjoyed watching what they did. So the way that you explain to your friends, for instance, here we just use var, and then we don't have any filter. This time we are going to have all the members. But in the next one, because we want to use order, what really makes sense is use the interface that contains that feature, which is going to be I ordered enumerable, right? And we first sort based on the number of characters, and after that we sort based on the alphabetic order, as we said, W. One of the things that could happen is you want to classify your output based on one feature into different groups. So that categorization or classification are based on the group by feature. Every word that have 2, 3, 4, let's just classify them into different classes. We say group W by the length into word groups. So I have the group name. Let's just go together and see what is happening here. Guys, the very first thing that we do is, well, we split it and we have an array of words, but plainly just into one group. Then we are gonna say, hey, from that W in poems, let's group them based on the length that we have and say that is word group, right? And look at this. If you see here, wow, it is not sorted at all. Why? Because the very first word that we have had 4 characters. So we are gonna start with that, right? So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the key is 4. And how many we have words that they have 4 characters? We have 3. And it's gonna show you like group, Mary, lamb, and stow. Does that make sense? So the other one is 3. And why 3? Because the second word had 3. And it's going to show you had, its, and was. Guys, whenever you make a group, we have 2 separate parts. One is the key that classified your group into that, the key feature. And the other one, which is going to be the values that you have based on those keys. Look, we say that for every GRP in R2 in here, show me the key, and then the grp.count shows how many people are in those groups that you have classified, right? And look at the last part. The GRP by itself contains just those words. One of the things that I very much liked, one of our team members did yesterday, they said, you know what, Reza, I want to sort them. It's not a big deal. How about this? Let's challenge yourself, make it sorted. Thank you. Whoever could finish, please let me know. I'm gonna quickly check and appreciate with bonus. I know, it's. That's a good one. Coming. Coming. Great job with this. I've already gave you bonus. Good, thank you. No, because of this trouble. That's one, but how about this? I'm gonna show another one. That's one approach. Okay. Done. Thank you, Jaina. Okay, can I have your attention, please? This is, oopsie. Actually, I very much enjoyed what Dennis did, so I just used his name. So I think now it is easier for you to relate and read. What we did actually, I enumerable, I grouping, and then int string R2. The thing that we have here, because we say we have a word groups, then you can simply say you're going to, my apologies, you're going to order it by what? By the word group dot key. That's what I told you, that it happens right after that. And if you see, it is going to beautifully sort based on the key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the other thing that we have is ordering by the elements that we have in each key. This is a kind of very simplified version. I actually decided for now to, give me a second, I'm sorry. I want to add one slide. To say a better version. And I want you, I'm gonna send you the code. I want everybody to spend 30 seconds, work on this code with your friends, see if there is anything that you cannot understand or you cannot relate to. If you please go to the Telegram, you have the code over there. Please apply it. You do the same thing? My apologies, please give me a second because I want to make sure that it's nice, neat. Okay, guys, there is one simple thing. Kanjan, what is the difference between projection and selection? Very much simple. If the things that you want to return is similar to the data set that you're using, it would be selection. If you do any changes in terms of type, number of parameters, and so on and so forth, it would be projection. As simple as that. So whenever you say, for instance, select, in this example, in this very example, I want to ask you, and please get back to me by a very simple question, very simple reply. In this code that we have together, if I simply say select X, what is going to be forget about the errors for now, because I need to do some changes. What is the output of this? Is it going to be a select or projection? Select, because you have X and you want to select X. But how about this one, guys? Why? Because here your input is number and your return would be string. Does that make sense? So please, everybody, try this as the first example. It's in the note part of slide number 27. let me add this one. Okay, just guys, change that one into a selection. The code that I have already given to you. It's a simple challenge. It's not a big deal. Just change it to select and make it error-free. Done. Thank you, Manav. Be careful of man. He's going to sell his friends like that. Done. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
And then we are outputting or it's projection because we are changing the value, like we are multiplying the value.
No, it's because we changed the whole type. We have something as the input. We have totally something different. We could, yeah, do something. And there isn't any specific line between. We just want to say selection is when they are alike, projection when they are different. A kind of modification process apply, right? Did I answer? Okay, thank you. So, Jainam. Awesome. So let's go to the next part together. That's one example. Let me just see one thing before I continue. I guess I did a kind of wise decision in 32. If you see, I have provided some, guys, I have provided some links to for YouTube, as well as some useful tutorials like this one. I have mentioned that, please go through it. But opposite of all the previous sessions that we mostly focused on the text file from GUI to the end, I mostly focused on the PowerPoint. Do you remember we started the session saying that we have a computer and we have a database? It nicely, beautifully walk you through all the definitions with all those examples. I'm telling you again, this is not the database course. That is why we just skipped all those parts. But if you can work with LINQ here, you can work with LINQ anywhere using databases, data sets, Excel, and so on and so forth. Getting to the next slide together. Is there anything new in here for you guys compared to this one? Just this is how you see the input here. This is how you see. Yeah. You see? Okay. I remember that you're in the other list. It's hard, man. So look. How about, okay, this is something for the first time we see get A from nums and get B from letters. So we have two different tables. And again, because we just want to have some practices, we use what? Cartesian, we call it Cartesian products. Sherry, it means that we are going to have 1A, 1B, 1C, right? Because we are going to say then 2A, 2B, 2C. Then guess here we're going to say 3A, 3B, 3C, right? Everybody's fine with that? So first thing first, please go to slide number 30. And the very first one always is the simplest one. And I'm not going to take your time for improving and having just use this and see what's going to happen. Okay, can you see the result, everybody? I just changed it to \n, so to have 1A, 1B, 1C. Okay. Guys, if you're done, look at the next one. This time, the slide number 32. Please look at the thing that we have. This is another usage that we have for from, but we use, guys, we have only one collection, and that is A, B, C. We are going to say from A in letters, from B in letters, from C in letters. But for A, we do something differently. We say that from A in letters ordered by A in descending order. So it's not going to be A, B, C. It's going to be C, B, A. The first that you're going to fetch would be letter C. Okay. And you're going to just mix them all together by saying select A, B, C. So it's going to be C, A, then yes, C, A, B, and so on and so forth. Please try it. Okay, can I have your attention, please? Guys, do you see here we have ABC, sorry, CAA, CAB, and so on and so forth? Have you seen, for sure you have seen, those kind of digital digit lock, something like this, that they have those numbers like 000, 3 digits, just 3 digits. Let's say 3-digit lock. Okay, I want you to just challenge yourself, create a program that traces all those numbers like 000, then 001, 002. Very simple. Also, it is 4 digits. I also don't know. Our log is different from this. Oh, you wrong. Thank you. Yes. Right. No. Okay. Those, okay. Don, test this. Don? You have to just get rid of the comma at the end. So do comma, get rid of that. No, just one. No worries. Okay. Awesome. So guys, briefly just tell me who could finish it successfully because I know that Garth did. Just Manov did. Man, troublemaker did. Yeah. Anjan did. Jainam. Hello. What kind of Jainam did. Rishi. Oh, where is the Rishi? Did. And Arjun did. Okay, and because did and Festus. Okay, can I have your attention, everybody? If you go to, do you see how you created this, guys? In cybersecurity, that's the very basic, the simple way for what we call it brute force attack. You create all the possibilities and you try them to see if you can penetrate to a system or not. So that is why that we have limited number of attempts. If 3, then it's going to idle your account for 30 minutes, for example, right? Let's just quickly see. Awesome, Jordan. Thank you. So let's go to the next. If you see here, I have provided showing you this. This is one of the possibilities. You can use string or you can use integer, both works. And the other thing that you see here is using where, select, and group by, and it says that in most of queries produce a result of type I enumerable. Now you are the master of this. And by saying that, we are ready to go to the last set of slides. And actually, in this set of slides, the same, I have provided some videos for you. Please watch them at your convenience. But let's go through the slide part together. So select where, order by, then by, and order by descending, then by descending, that kind of thing. And we said that how to, okay. One thing that it says, and I wish I made it, and I'm gonna make it. Why they call it deferred execution, or they call it lazy loaded. Can I have your attention, everybody, and see what could be your guess? What is the output man for this one? A, B, C, D, or E? Yes, Festus? Festus is saying D. Let me ask you one thing, guys. Can I have your attention, everybody? What is the nums? Nums is a list of integers containing 4, 2, and 3. Then we say that, okay, let's pick, guys, even numbers from the nums, which is going to be what? 4 and 2. Am I right? And after you are done with that, you're going to say, you know what? Let's just add these numbers to this nums. And then you're going to say, okay, show me what we have there. So what do you have there? 4 and 2, right? B. Okay, we have all the alphabets now. The logic says, because you have done the calculations here between 2 to 5, it should be just 4 and 2, and you added the numbers later, right? That's what the logic says. But you're going to run that, and surprisingly enough, it's going to tell you 4, 2, 6, and 8. And the reason for that is it is lazy loaded. Means if you see the query here, it's just there to look beautiful. It's not going to do anything for you. And whenever you apply it, then, for instance, say, hey, show it to me, show the result, then it needs to go and see what is there. Look at it, guys. Surprisingly enough, it's going to tell you 4, 2, 6, and 8.
Only when we call R1, it goes to the R1 and run the query.
Yeah, and man, I need your help for this part for a sec, because I remember that you are very good in this thing. Okay, so if I am going to just say this one, what should I say? Dot to list, right? It's going to work. How about this one? I should say, tell me, list of integers or what? Okay, list of integers, right? So, and it's going to, guys, what was the answer? It was D, right? So how about this? D. Okay, I'm going to run this one. And surprisingly enough, this time it's just 4 and 2. What? Okay. Look at this one. In line number 2, when you said, go to the list nums and fetch those values that are odd numbers, dot to list means that I need them. Go and calculate. So it is already calculated and brought, it's not lazy loaded anymore. You fetch the values. And in that case, when it comes to add some ranges, you have already decided and you have already filled R1. Then if you add, it's going to happen after it. You got it? It looks a little bit strange, but I want you to sit, talk to your neighbors, explain why this one shows you this result, and the previous one shows you 4, 2, 6, and 8.
Okay, so. We are already occupied level. Like.
Yes. In the previous one, though, it just looks, I mean, yeah, empty.
Already reached.
Done. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? Once again, let's correct me if I'm saying nonsense. Man, here I have a list of numbers 4, 2, and 3. And when I say var, R1 is equal to something like, I just want to pick the even numbers, right? From this list. Did I ask to do anything like print anything for me, do any calculations, convert them to whatever they are to something like list? I didn't ask anything. I just said, hey, I wish I had the even numbers from the list. Yes, it's just like a plan, but not applied. And after that, after you said that I wish that happens, then you are going to add some more digits into the list. So now the list is not only 4, 2, 3, it's 4, 2, 3, 6, 5, 8. And when you say, okay, get those even numbers from, now it's the time that you're going to go to the R1. And R1 is not just 3 element list anymore. It contains 6. Does that make sense, Abdul? Yeah, awesome. So by saying that, now we understand what is happening in there, and the output, you know why? This is the first slide, guys. I quickly go through it. Just please quickly tell me what is the output of this. Awesome, lovely. And I said, please try to replace var. Guys, if you don't want to add anything else, what is the easiest way to replace var? You're lovely. So I did list, it didn't work first, then I realized that it should be I enumerable, but I could fix that too, right? You know that I could say list by just adding. Lovely, you know better than me now. So the other thing is, yeah, most of the queries produce a result of type, but I remember something, please jog my memory. We had I something enumerable as well. Lovely, I ordered enumerable. And when do we need to use I ordered? Lovely, when we say that we sort the elements. And now, again, you know better than me that what if I want to get some, like here, what if I want to get some features, like not all of them, or just do manipulations? We call it projection. And the other thing that we have in slide number 13, again, guys, this is quite something. Honestly, I couldn't discover what is happening in this slide. It is number 13. And yes, the challenge is who can explain this? That kind of thing. So slide number 13 and slide number 14. The good thing is we have the code. But the problem is I cannot understand the code. So let's spend a few minutes And guys, because it's an open lab, let's just use it this way. You're going to have 10-minute combination of break and working on this. Okay. And then we are gonna continue at 11:25. Just somebody reminds me to resume the video. Thank you. Okay. This slide number 14. The whole credit of explanation goes to Man. Thank you, Man, for explaining. So let me just repeat what I learned from you and correct me if there's any issue somewhere. What I learned here is this. First, we have numbers that they're kind of randomly scattered, like 5, 4, 1, 3, 9, and so on. But look at the next part. Intentionally, we have created an array of, as you see, strings that every one of these strings, like first string, second string, right? What is the index of this one, the first one? What is the index of the second one? 2, 3. Actually, if you look, the index that they have for each of these strings, we just made string saying it is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, right? Garf, is it clear? So for instance, in index number 9 with alphabets, we wrote 9. But if you count, it's going to be index number 9 as well. Okay. Now the real game starts from here. We are going to say var digit odd even, and we say, hey, from numbers, which these guys, from numbers, select any number from there. So guys, what would be the first value that you're going to have? Number 5. So n is going to be for the first round, it's going to be 5. Am I right? And then you say that get that thing and place it as the index for this. Guys, what is this digits? Can you tell me?
List parents.
Exactly, lovely. You got it. So my apology for the so in that case, if I say digits 5, right, it addresses the digits, which is here, and it says that go to index number 5, that we know that the indices are equal to the alphabetic number that we have there. So it's going to be this one because the index of this is 5. So what are we going to have as a result? 5. Am I right? The other thing that, so this is this part. The other thing is going to say, hey, if the n, what is n? 5. Is it divisible by 2? No, it's going to be 1. So in that case, because it is not equal to 0, then this is going to return false. So technically, what we are going to have is going to be, guys, for the first sample, it's going to be 5, comma, tell me, false. And you're going to say, hey, Reza, where should I hold this? I'm going to say, don't worry. I'm going to make an agile anonymous class for you. So let's just consider, and that happens through that happens through this new. You remember that we said that we rarely use that. We create a new object that object has two what? Properties. One of them is digit and the other one is even. And we are going to say, and guess what? We are going to add that to this gizmo, right? Digit, odd, even thing. So the very first thing that you're going to have, guys, you already told me. The very first one was 5 and what? False. Am I right? What about the next one that we have 4? So I'm not going to repeat it. It's going to be 4, lovely. And what? True. Awesome. Lovely. And so on and so forth, right? The secret sauce is in here that we say that go to every element, every D that you have in that digit odd evens, and type that D dot digits, which is going to say what? 5 is, and this is a ternary, as Man said, this is a ternary operator that says that D dot, sorry, even if it is true condition, then bring me even. If it is false condition, then bring odd. So guys, what do you expect to see for false? Lovely, odd. And for the next is gonna be even. Guys, everything is clear? Okay, thank you very much. The good news is that was the most sophisticated things that we wanted to learn today. If you learned that, awesome. The next thing is for this one, sometimes we want to have OR conditions if a number is divisible by 3 or a number is divisible by 2. And then for those two practices, I split them into these slides. We're going to get to there. Let me ask you one quick question. Can you please tell me what could be, just give me some samples. We say that let's have var poem equal to, and I'm not gonna take your time by saying, hey, go and find what is instead of var would be. You are the master of it now, I'm sure. We say that poem dot where condition, and we say for every w that contains a. So if you start Mary, pass the test, had passed the test, a passed the test, but not little, lamb, yes, not it's, not fleece, was yes, not white, as yes, not a snow. Does that make sense? So it's gonna just show you this result. Am I right? Not a bad idea. Go to that part, just spend a few seconds, run it, enjoy it, and then we are gonna continue. Done? Okay, let's go to the next together, please. If we go to the next part, and I said that challenge, make this work with output. Let's just bypass that. Bypass the challenge part. If you please go to the node part, I have already resolved the issues. So what we say is, guys, what is the range between 1 to 10? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, not including 10, right? And then we say where it is divisible by 0 or 2. And then we say select those numbers. Guys, is this a selection or projection? Lovely. Lovely. Excellent. So, and then we are going to say for every I in R1, just show. You can just simply guess what would be the I need to correct myself for one thing. My apologies, guys. In Python, when you say range, it doesn't include the right side. In C#, it includes the right side. So both inclusive. That's why I made mistake. I said include this, exclude this, but this is not Python. It includes both sides. Okay. So you see that because of that, we have 2, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10, and it multiplied by 12, and you can see the result. You already learned how to make spaces. So please just do a little bit of modification, make it nice, neat. Done.
Spelling mistake.
Who?
Was comparing both the code, one with the challenge and one with after the challenge. Like spelling, one was enumerable and one was enumeration.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the yes, that's the
It's
challenge.
same.
True. Okay, I don't know how, but can you please just order it like this? Okay, because I want to have enough time for my apologies, I'm gonna just bypass it quickly, guys. Very simple. You just say comma 3, for instance, or here comma 4, just to have a nice, neat, let's just bring it to comma 3 as well. So it's gonna just format it nicer, right? So I'm going to add this one, Control C, in the node part. Okay. The other thing that I want you to just pay attention, guys, is there anything you remember that way more difficult compared to this one? Is already explained, but by man. So I want you to go to slide number 20, please. Copy the whole code. Spend a few seconds. Please run it. Okay, can I have your attention for a sec, please? Look at this one. What is the index of 0? No need to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But the other color I'm gonna use to show the number of characters that we have here. Please tell me for this one, for this one, the next 3, the next, the next, the next 3, and then, and then, and now, and then at the end, we're gonna have 4. Look at this one, please. If you compare these two numbers, is 0 greater than 4? Look at the question that we have in here. It says that for the digit dot length, which is going to be this purple color, if it is less than the index, is 4 less than 0? No. Is 3 less than 1? Is, again, 3 less than 2? Is 5? Now we get used to the question. If I just show you the code, you can easily see that. We got all the way to here. Is the length, which is 5, less than 3? No. Is, here, is 4 less than 4? No. But it starts from here. Is 4 less than 5? Yeah. So we are going to just have, and we are going to just show that the word 5 is shorter than its value, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So that is why we have that output. And the visualizing is what I actually, the thing that you see here, I said, let's visualize it, means using whiteboard the way that I did. So how about this one? In slide number 22, if you look, I said, let's have numbers 5, 4, 1, 3, the same as what we had. And then I said here, var nums in place. Guys, which one of these? Let me just quickly ease the job for everybody and have a quick. Please tell me which one of these guys are in its real order place. What is the index of this one? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The indices are correct, right? We want to say select num means these things, and index, right? And we say, let's say the num inside the num and in place is going to be false or true if the num 5, 0, if they are in their own correct index, yes or no. Guys, for these, just these 3 numbers are in their correct positions. So we are going to have, and it says that now if you're done, then for every n in num in place, show me the number and show me the place, creating an anonymous class and creating object based on an anonymous class on the fly. Okay, spend just 1 minute, talk to your neighbors, see what you grasp from that. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? Look at this one. I said var poem. Let me just get rid of this for a second. I said here, let's have an array of strings. And then I said, I enumerable R1. And then we say, inside poem, first order everything based on the length, which is going to be A at the beginning, as is going to be the second. And then we are going to have 3 digits, 3 characters, sorry, words, and so on and so forth. And if there is a condition that we have, for instance, several words with the same number of characters, like what? Like had, it's, was, then order it based on their alphabetic order. Does that make sense? Then when you're done, you say that, okay, for every word that you have in R1, then just show what is happening. If you run this one, it's going to show you A, as, had, it's, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? And alphabetically ordered. How about this one? In this, the only change that we have, we say order by descending order. So it's going to, if you run that, it's going to start from the, yes, please, and then little, and so on. And if you wanted to say then by, you could say then by what? Let me just, yeah, my apologies. And then this time, if you see little is going to be on top, then fleece, L, then F, right? That kind of thing. By saying that, we go to, yeah, please, the code that you have inside the homework part, bring it. And then run it. See what is happening. And then I'm gonna explain quickly. Okay, can I have your attention for a few seconds? Look at this one. I'm explaining what we have in the note part of slide number 29. First thing first, we are going to define a class called person. And in person, we have age and name, constructor, and so on. Very simple, right? Look, we are going to have, test this, a list of persons, right? And I don't need to say, for instance, P1 is equal to, right? On the fly, without having separate name for every object, I'm going to add Bruce, Mike, Ronnie, and so on to this list of persons. Does that make sense, Cherry? So I have a full list, and the next thing that is happening is gonna be here. I'm gonna say persons dot order by. Look, how we are gonna order it. Do you like to order it, guys? If you split this one, it's a kind of, imagine that people just, we ask them to have first name and last name in just 2 parts. There's no middle name or not combination of more. In that case, if I say p dot name split, it's going to have two indices, 0 for the first name and 1 is going to be for the last name. So I say I want to order. Do you see the beautiful usage of lambda here? So go and order by the what? Last name's length. Lovely. Then if the last name's length is equal, then order based on age. Is it going to be ascending or descending? Means what? Means younger first, seniors later, right?
Seniors.
Seniors first, seniors.
Still because? I know that you said that. Okay, look at the result here, guys. As you see here, people paid attention to, because said Reza, no, we said here, then by descending. So it's gonna be senior first, then younger people. But let's get back to this part, guys. How many elements do we have here? 3 and 3. But the one who is older, they're gonna be first on top. And the thing is, we have all of those inside R1. And now the nice thing is we are going to say for every R in R1, which has two parts, name and age, let's just show those two. That's it. By saying that, actually, I wanted to have that as a kind of homework. Guys, is there anything that you need explanation here? This is the only place that we added just one group. I want you please copy the code, bring it to here. It shouldn't be difficult. Spend just 1 minute or so to explain it to your neighbors. Okay, in that case, Manav, do you want to explain to everybody? Not saying that chakre. So, yeah.
In the first line,
Uh-huh.
we have string that we are splitting it into, and here we should not use bar, instead we should use a list of string.
This one?
Yeah,
Okay, let me just say, you mean that if I say list string, it's going to work, right? Well, it's not gonna work.
it should be an array.
Yeah, because it is an array of string.
So it takes each and every word and splits it into the, like, this string poem.
Uh-huh.
Afterwards, we are creating a variable in the second line R2, in which we are doing group by command for the poem. In that, we are taking the particular elements of a length and grouping it together. Like if we have 4 characters, then all 4 characters group will be there. And that will be stored in R2. And we are iterating over the R2 in the for each loop in line 3. And each and every group will come into the variable grp. And we will count that and display it. Afterwards, we will also take the group.key, so it will return how many characters were there in that particular group. Like,
Mhm.
afterwards, we also do another loop which will represent all the elements of that particular loop,
Mhm.
of that particular group. And yeah, that's it.
Just one thing. That's beautiful. What I learned from you is in R2, which is a group byte version of what we did based on the number of characters. When we say group by, we have some properties. One of them is count, right? How many elements do we have in each group? That's one part. The other thing is the key. For instance, if you have group of 2, 3, and more. And we have other features, but for now, these two are enough. So we can have the values that we have. How we are going to just show the value? Very simple. We say that for every W in GRP, because I told you it's not like dictionary that you have one key and one value. You have key and series of values. It's something like hash table, but we have one. So based on that, I expect to have, as you said, for instance, 3 words of length 4, and then Mary Lamb Snow, that kind of thing. And I'm not gonna take your time. You know how to just sort them. We did it in a previous example. Thank you very much. Let's give it up for him. Guys, you are good in teaching people, so use this. I do not advise to be a prof because you're not gonna receive, and that is honestly, that is very teasing because you can understand when people tease you and you don't want to get back to them. When they mock you, they just make joke and they just have fun. And you are gonna say, hey, what if you just sit here? Do you like to be treated like that? Do you want to be that smart people who just do this? And that is very much, and you go home and you just think about all those things that you receive. It's like knife, yes. And you just still want to be nice to those people because they're gonna grow up one day and they're gonna remember these days, hoping that they're gonna learn their lessons from this. And it is not easy. Don't be a prof, but be kind. It's easy. So let's go to this example. This is not that much difficult. And I want you to think, especially when we say W index is 0, what is it addressing? Awesome. Cherry, right? Okay, that's this. So how many characters do we have here, guys? Technically, we have banana B, we have cherry, and we have apple. So we have just 3 different things. Look at this. Here we say var word group words dot group by W alt. So we are gonna group by based on the first character of the thing. Awesome. It does exactly the same thing. Nothing new here, guys. Do you see anything that we haven't talked about? You can just add one more things to it, like grp.count to have the number of things that it started with. But if you run it, you're gonna see as simple as that. 2 joins together. The next thing is range. I'm not gonna explain this one. And I said run this code several times. Let's just run this and see what is happening here. There's a beautiful thing. For the first time, we said, let's create an object called R&D based on random numbers. And then we are going to say that random object that I create, when we say dot next 0 to 10 means create random numbers between 0 to 10. And then we say create another range between 0 to 20. And when you use select like this, guys, what is going to happen? It's going to make, we say that, hey, between 0 to 10, I'm going to just make this one 5, then you can see it easier. You don't need to calculate. We say that in the range of 5 numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create random numbers between 0 to 10. And now, isn't it easy for us to create the practice that we did a few seconds ago? Nicer, neater. Work on it later. Guys, this is all about just getting ideas. How about this one? When I say repeat 110. Everybody, please copy slide number 38. Bring it here, Control A, Control V, run it. And it's gonna show you that you have 1 10 times. Use another example, say 7 3 times and see what's gonna happen. Simple, right? Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next. I said Reza 7. Use your beautiful name and use your lucky number. Okay. So it's going to show the result. And if you see here in all the slides, okay, can I have your attention because I want to finish it in 1 or 2 minutes. In slide number 44, we have, no, after that we have work. We want to finish the slides, man. So life is going to continue. So yes, we're going to have quiz. So look, if I say range 0, 3, and I say select many, guys, look at this beautiful part. When you say select many, you're going to have, we have a range, and then we are going to have select many. I have already provided a nice, neat document. Go through it, and it shows you, let me just, because it is very much self-descriptive. Everybody pay attention to this example. You see, we have one array here, second array, third array, and fourth arrays. Guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13. If you say arrays dot select array for every array that you have, it's just going to flatten them. Does that make sense, Rishi? So it's going to be what? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, all the way to, it's like adding them all together, Cherry. In this example, we say that, guys, what is the range of 7, 3? It's going to be 7, 8, 9. And then, yeah, look, we say that let's have range 0 to 3. Then we say select many. And then we say that, guys, please, everybody, run that code. and see what's gonna happen. To ease the job for yourself, you can simply say \n. Then it shows the results beautifully. This is another way. Guys, can I have your attention? This is another way. If you look at the result, it shows that we have 0, 7, 0, 8, 0, 9. Then it goes to 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, and so on. And the beautiful part is, guys, this is the first part. It's like Cartesian kind of combination of two selection, the Cartesian products. But you get the first part, and then you're gonna say select many. That is going to provide that Cartesian products for you. Now you can think of the example that we had again, that 0, 0, 0 all the way to 9, 9, 9, another solution for it. Okay, range 0 to 9, then dot select many 0 to 9, then dot select many 0 to 9. Isn't it? Yeah, it's not difficult. By saying that, we are done with the slides that we had, and I'm going to just say the one thing. I received that question from one of your team members saying that, Reza, you see here is 34. I'm very much sure that after finishing all the assignments and all the tasks that I have provided for you, you are still have hunger to work on more stuff. And you're gonna say that I need something to work on. If you had that kind of feeling in any moment, I have provided solution for you. So it's gonna be a lab optional. If anybody works on that, they're gonna come back with the solution. They're gonna have 4 bonus marks or 1%. Definitely don't ask our friends to provide solution for you. And the other thing is, you might ask this question from yourself. Okay, we successfully finished object-oriented, but what are the things that I honestly needed to know? I provided this document for you, and you can just have, after you've finished review for being prepared for the exam, read this one and just be proud of yourself. See how many of them already part of your knowledge, okay? By saying that, it is 12:10, and I'm going to just provide, everybody please open this one, the hands-on for number 30. You have it there too. I'm gonna just drag and drop this. Just to start working on it. It's not gonna take more than 10, 15 minutes. Some people finished it in 5 minutes. If you haven't watched that Visual Studio GUI presentation, please watch that as soon as possible. I'm going to bring that to your. Okay, this is the hands-on. We can start working on it. And people who joined online, thank you very much. I appreciate, Jordan, I gave you your bonus. Worry, I stopped recording. And thanks for those people who watch it later. Have a good one. Ciao.